Okay, we're back. I've just done a bit of kind of removing things and getting rid of kind of some old footage that's on my main computer because that's where I'm recording to. Because I had a few bothers with using the new hard drive. I might just try recording to the hard drive again on just doing some experimentation and see if that works, because then I won't have to worry about this again. Now I can't actually see how much time I've spent on this session now, but whatever. I think we'll stick with the idea of doing. I think we'll stick with doing the old. What was I going to do? Just finish this mission.
Lady Ursula's health is not good at all. And now she's lost her cat, it's almost like she has nothing left to live for.
Douglas.
He's been Lady Ursula's butler for years. We have plans to marry. But first, Douglas needs to put together a little nest egg. He says he'll have some money soon.
So yeah, so he was assumably... I suspect, basically, the money is... One money is what the client pays to go, and the other is what someone else is paying him to say. So I assume that Douglas would have Mittens tell Lady Ursula to pay.
Lady Ursula was planning to leave her fortune to her cat Mittens. Since the cat passed on, she's been going to that spiritualist in hopes that Mittens will tell her what to do with the money.
Yeah, I think that makes... So I assume we're going to find a little... potentially a letter. I found another newspaper article similar to the one I gave you. This one is from Sydney. It appears we will be exposed to the next seance just as those people were. Douglas, you got me into this. You better solve it. Okay. So it looks like a lot of... I assume basically what it is he would pretend to die, and then from beyond the grave he'd reveal that actually a lot of this thing were elaborate hoaxes. To Miriam, my maid, and Douglas, my butler, I leave my Belchingham china, and thanks for their long service, to be given on their wedding day, whenever that day shall be. I leave my dear cat Mittens all my remaining worldly goods in the hope that they bring him even a small portion of the joy he has brought me. In anguish handwriting in the margin scrawled, whatever will I do now that my dear Mittens is no more? Right, so there's another one, another clue. Around somewhere. Right. Now I think it's just inside. I've already looked in at that one. That's the one we've just read. Yeah. So who was writing to Douglas then? So this is the newspaper article. Medium foretells his own death in a stunningly dramatic final seance. Psychic Roberto El Magnifico revealed that several clients were being traduced by their loved ones who had paid him to give information to his false seances. But then, just as predicted, he was killed in a mysterious explosion during his final seance on Newbury Street. One of his clients, a Dr. Pittenweem, pronounced him dead at the scene. The phrases traduced by their loved ones and mysterious explosion are circled in pencil. I mean, that fits what we've just thought. So I assume he basically... he gets the money from everyone. The people who he's conned aren't upset with him. Because the loved ones, you were tricking me, you were lying to me. And he's dead, so they can't go after him, but they go after the so-called loved ones. Hello. Hello. There is a letter in one of the pockets. Boyd, dear lad, if you don't get me the money by the end of the month, you'll be in a heap of trouble. The kind of trouble that hurts. Need I say more? I can't remember what Asquith wanted. Let's have a look. No. I want the suspects. Like Janice Asquith. She feels certain you would have put her in contact with her dear sister. Advice concerning the acceptance of a marriage proposal.
Stand there as long as you like. I'm calling the police.
So,
Who do you think you are?
Boyd was assumably the presumptive groom.
Her father mentioned this swindler to me. I understand it's because of him that my engagement has been delayed.
Ah, you're Boyd. So here's the thing, is Boyd would assumably have... Well, okay. No, so she's asking for his advice on the matter, or she wants her sister's advice on the matter, but...
Never trust a man who tells you what you want to hear. He's after something. Taking advantage of my daughter's love for her departed sister. With that charlatan gone, things can get back to normal. My daughter's engagement to Everett Boyd can be announced at last. Never trust...
Oh, no. Engagement.
A girl Janice's age should be married. Everett is a very sensible young man from a good family.
Who's desperate for money.
He'll be very successful, I'm sure of it. Janice's eldest sister was strong-willed. Janice always followed her lead. That's why it's so sad that she asks for advice, even in death. Time for Janice to think for herself. I know what's best for her.
So, pretty much everyone here seems to... basically everyone seems to have a motive. Almost everyone apart from the clients seem to have a motive. It's the diary. I have some affection for Everett, but I don't think my sister would approve him. She always bade me to strive for more than that which merely appears directly in front of my face, if only father weren't urging me otherwise. Okay, so she actually personally didn't... She kind of liked him, but she's kind of like, well, you know, it's not great. Yeah, so she's not sure about the whole matter.
Janice is a lovely creature. I would be honored were she to accept my proposal. I do adore her.
Hey, who do you think you are? Barging the locals out the way to put me on.
So where are these other bits of evidence? Hello. Ah, yes, of course, cigarette butts. Likely left by a vagrant, one who's following her to get the information on her. So they already had the evidence, didn't the routine? So was she undecided? And so he... That's the thing, is like, was she undecided? And so asked... And so he asked her to attend. And so she got the information. But why not... Piece of evidence I'm missing, and I don't like it. I mean, I don't think it's going to be... I mean, with one piece of evidence, and it's not in Boyd's house. Oh, hello. I don't think it's going to be conclusive. Mr. Everett Boyd's business plans appear to be sound, as long as he has no other pressing obligations. I believe that if your daughter accepts his proposal, the money you settle on the happy couple would mean the success of Mr. Boyd's venture, and your daughter Janice would live a comfortable life.
I should re-interrogate a suspect.
I know the owner of a local brewery, and I'm convinced his business will flourish. He just needs some financial backing. Now Janice is free to be married at last. I'll invest my dowry in the brewery and make a fortune.
Go to Robert's house. Or the Roberts' house. Or Roberts' house. So far things don't seem conclusive beyond it maybe being Douglas. Because Douglas seems to be the one with the biggest... Douglas is the one with the biggest motive. He's the one who has an idea of how things happened, it seems. So it seems to point towards Douglas. I mean, admittedly, Everett and Janice's father, whatever his name was, Mr. Asquith, do seem to both have motives for it, for basically stopping her going. Although, why was she going? I mean, surely she would have been it would have been suggested to her by someone. That would be sensible, I would assume. This evidence? Nope. Oh, hello. Mysterious death in King Street. A spiritualist who went by the name of Felix Magnus claimed he would die at his next seance, but the outcome held even more drama. Mr. Magnus demonstrated to several clients that their closest friends and relations were swindling them via Magnus himself, before a burst of smoke and flame ended the seance abruptly. Magnus was declared dead by Dr. Folsom, who was attending as a client. So the doctor is not a client, he's there to go, oh yeah, he's dead. Maybe he's...
My brother has become obsessed with some secret bank account. He inherited almost all of my father's fortune, as well he should as the male heir. But some was locked in a secret account. I think it unlikely that it should be a significant amount. I went along to the seances a couple of times. I thought it was a waste of my brother's time. Power of attorney to a psychic? That sounds very unusual indeed.
So we can't... So it's not the brother. So the actual person... Unless he suddenly realizes he's been duped by reading that. He's like, oh, I've been duped. Several bank accounts scrawled. Bentland Bank, A7, Bank of Kent, 270, York Bank, A72, crossed out. You can put them together and maybe get a full bank account. And then you take all of his money. Mwahaha. A note appended to the father's will specifying that the bulk of my fortune is safely secured in an account, the particulars of which will be communicated by word of mouth to my son. I honestly have no clue. Is this all the evidence? This can't be everything. Oh, there's still something over here. Because that's now lit up white, so there's now something else over there. To be fair, I mean, out of everyone, I would lean towards Douglas. But it's so... The whole thing's quite vague. I'm not sure I like this one. But everyone seems to have a motive. Actually, thinking about it, the people who did it must be the people in the room because he was stabbed rather than the explosion. So it must be someone in here, so we narrow that down. Now, he's not one of the clients, Dr. Wilburn. But I don't think he's one of the suspects, is he? Wait. What? I'm really confused. Fairly sure it was you. So, is there are there more areas? No, there's no other locations that I'm aware of. And I've got all of the evidence. Haven't I? Haven't I? It'd be really helpful if it did actually tell you if you've got all the evidence. Right. Fairly sure I've got all of the evidence from these, but apparently I've not. Apparently I've missed something. Because it won't let me accuse people. J'accuse! Okay, I think I need to go to all the room places again just to see if there's... No, I don't... No, there must be something. There must be. Is the power of attorney thing? No. Dr. Wilburn is missing from the list, so he's been brought in as a... He's been brought in as the local doctor who's here on a separate matter and... Flashpoint, I can't... That is not something I examine. It confuses me because it's the same colour as everything else. Who are the mysterious... It'll be the people who want them to come to certain conclusions. Right, I'm going to go around the houses again. And... maybe that will then give me a bit of a... Oh, it won't let me... It will let me climb once I stop wanting to climb. I see. Oops. Yeah, so I've got everything here. Oh, there's a door right here. Oops. Death of the Spiritualist Felix Magnus. Right, and there's nothing out here. Okay, I need to go back to the window to climb up. It's right to the roof, I think. Not quite where I was expecting to go, but fair enough. So I've got all of the evidence I can get, it seems, but I can't actually accuse anyone. Can I line this up? No, I can't. That's frustrating. That's a little waste, but alright. And once again, I've got everything here as well. So... yeah, there's nothing else to do here.